but at least if we can get the concept of the valley gutter approved, then their contractor can move ahead. He's been waiting 3 or 4 days now, waiting to see what he's going to have to do on that when. Does he put in the valley gutter or doesn't?
I would make a motion that we allow the valley gutter proposal to come forward, and that we direct the city attorney to look into whatever is necessary to put on the agenda for the next meeting the abandonment of that property or ceding it to the school district.
All we're going to have to do is get a legal description of that abandonment.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You're welcome.
Okay, number 16, Councilman Hanson, discussion possible action consideration for Mayor Hickman and the City Council to hold a meeting with the city employees in order to receive feedback from the city employees. There will be no discussion of no decision made on the consideration. We should bring the meeting on issues raised. Issues raised may become agenda items in the future.
I also need to point out that if you're going to do this, you would not be, the employees would not be allowed to talk about employees or supervisors, because unless we go through that notice process, and then in that scenario, they are entitled to closed personnel sessions. That's not open. So as long as that provider is there and the employees know they can't come in and start talking bad enough to their supervisors or co-workers.
I think also would have to be a public meeting, wouldn't it, if you're going to have 5 council?
Absolutely. That's why it's on there, no decision made or deliberation. There would be a public meeting.
Could be a public meeting, and then the question is saying, where are you going to hold it?
I haven't discussed it with him, that the owner of the theater has offered to make his facility available for other civic functions as well. That would probably be a really good venue, which I think he would be amenable to allowing that to take place, especially since we would most likely have this meeting during the day so that we could relieve as many employees as possible to attend it without having to pay them overtime.
If it's going to be a public meeting, then I guess we'll have to...
We'll have to announce it beforehand.
Well, no, I
the
mean,
process.
it has to be recorded properly now.
Correct.
The 30 people that work at well.
So are you making this a mandatory meeting?
No.
Well, you're going to make it mandatory for the employees?
Did you want to?
Well, if you're not going to make it mandatory, then I would just do suggestion boxes. You know, make a motion that everybody, all the employees can come to any council when they want to talk about any problems that they might have.
They already can, can't they?
Right, but I mean, make that public announcement to the employees by form of letter. You know,
In the past, that has not been allowed.
Yeah, I know an employee that was chastised for coming to me.
And once again, this is because this item was brought up by several, actually, constituents, and they wanted to have it on the agenda, so that's why I placed it there. If there's a better way to address this, I'm more than willing to.
Well, I think a letter to the employees saying that, you know, a new council's here and we are open to anyone that wants to come talk to any councilman that they want to.
Right, and that item actually may be addressed on item 17, as you're reevaluating the organization of city administration.
That's correct also. Do we have anybody here that, you know, which would say that be interested in hearing from you? Well, a couple of city employees.
Ron, you're a supervisor. Do you mind your employees talking to councilmen?
No.
Rick?
I don't either, Bruce. The only thing, how am I going to schedule them around the landfill?
Well, no, I'm not talking about during business hours. I'm talking about they call you at lunch,
Okay.
call you at lunch.
I guess one question for Kevin, and it's not that I'm against it or not, but in the personal policy manual, we have a chain of command. And that in the chain of command is the employee needs to talk to their supervisor. If they still can't come to an agreement, then it goes to the city clerk. If there's no agreement there, then they may contact the mayor and ask for city councilman and go talk with the mayor and the city councilman. So if you're going to want to have the employees go right straight to you, I think...
Well, I think it should be that way for at least 3 months.
If we have to
they
change
feel
that.
comfortable. Right now, there's so much going on that they're scared. They're scared to talk to anybody. They're scared to talk, you know, and I think for the next 3 months or 6 months, that you as supervisors should allow your employees to talk to anybody.
And this is actually beyond
We gotta get way off subject now.
Yeah, I think, can you expand on the spirit of this suggestion?
Well, there are things also that have been brought forward that we wanted to accomplish as a city council. Specifically, plans that, we would like to see carried forward, especially now that we've had a chance to associate with some of the various city agencies with whom we have responsibilities. Spent a lot of time in the cemetery this week, and he's got things that, probably ought to be manifested and get input from other city employees as well. And likewise, some of the issues that have been brought up by Mr. Stewart tonight and so forth. The more people you have looking together to solve a problem, the better the odds are that you're going to get a better solution for that. In a lot of cases, certainly not every case. But the point is to conduct things, and so that we're all on the same page going in the same direction. And get input from them is the way we can do things, better here in the city.
I like the idea of the meeting. We're getting bogged down in details here.
True. But, if the letter would be more effective, and like I said, I don't want everybody, city employees standing up and saying, yeah, let's do this. So I'm, if you want to send a letter out, I think it'd be fine too. So I'm not making any motions at the time, I just wanted to bring it up, as I said I would. And I have. We can move on if nobody else wants to.
Well, the logistics of it is the time to say, because you'd have to make an open meeting.
Right.
Then this wouldn't be big, it's gonna have 47 employees. And if that counts me right on down to the
Well, yeah, and then you have the public too that might want to
and
come.
then you have the public, so now you got you're gonna have 48 employees, you're gonna be shut the city down for the day or have it at night, pay everybody overtime.
Well, that's what I say, and have it during the day, and I wouldn't anticipate that it would last more than 2 hours, so I don't think we have to shut the whole city down.
I don't know what you talk about for, the like employee there, except we're the new council. You don't want to listen to complaints, from them. You just basically welcome yourself to them. I think, I don't know if any of the employees I haven't met, to be honest with you.
Well, and it may be irrelevant at this point, so, but I was asked to put it on, so I did.
It's more of a logistic problem than anything else. really.
Yeah, it creates logistics problems.
I think, is there a way we could just let this die right now and bring it up again after some thought?
Yeah. I'm
I
cool with that.
think we should do that.
All right.
Because I do like the idea.
Anything else on this? You guys just want to move it on or table it or
Table was, that's right.
come on in the meeting?
I'm moving to table.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Vote. Okay. Number 17, Councilman Hanson, discussion possible action consideration to form a committee to reevaluate the organization of the city administration.
Now, keep in mind, and I know we've got some new councilmen here now, the open meeting law does require that any committee, subcommittee that is formed by the council, that they are subject to the open meeting law. If you have a member of the staff form this committee, which can include some city councilmen, then it is not subject to the open meeting law. So if you want to go through the notice requirements, the minutes, the recording of the meeting, and all those kinds of things, then you can appoint that council, or you can direct a staff member to create that committee.
I personally like the idea of the council requesting it and let it be open to the public. That's how I feel. I would rather let the public, invite the public, let it be there. I don't like the idea of the staff appointing a committee because then it can be done behind closed doors, and I don't like that. But that's my opinion.
I agree with Bruce completely. I think this is a situation that begs for a committee. Normally I don't like committees, but I think in this case we should put together a committee of people who are interested and knowledgeable. It should be subject to open meeting laws. They should form a recommendation to bring back to the council on how to reevaluate the organization of city administration.
Make that into a motion.
I move that we, as a council, appoint a committee to give recommendations to the council on organization of city administration.
I will second.
I'm still not quite sure how this goes.
Question of how many people we want on the committee.
going to appoint the committee?
Yes,
So
that's my
gonna be
motion.
Marty.
That's my motion.
Okay.
I think the motion should say how many people on the council and who else is on the committee. Otherwise, you can't even start unless you delineate what's who's on it.
Okay, let me amend my motion to say that this committee will be chaired by Sam Hansen.
Are you appointing the committee?
No, I just named the chair if he's willing to accept it, and he will appoint the committee.
Okay. Let's clarify it a little bit. The rest of your motion stand. Jennifer, you got that figured out?
I thought we still have a number of people on the
No.
committee though.
We don't. No. That's up to the chair.
Oh, okay.
And Lee?
Chair will study this.
I still second it with the amendment.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, number 18, Councilman Russell, discussion possible action, consideration to amend City Code 1-6A-4 near the ordinance within NRS 266.415.
Oh, that's me.
I got Marty.
Okay. Back to this subject of the unanimous requirement in city policy 1-6A-4, removal of the city clerk. Except, the last line, except removal may occur by vote of all the members of the city council. That's where our current policy says. But when you read the NRS, I looked at two of them. Kevin can help me out here. The one that seems appropriate, that I think we're violating, NRS 266.200. And I'll jump to the part that I think pertains. The general heading, mayor is presiding officer of city council, vote, veto, etc. The mayor may exercise the right of veto upon all matters passed by the city council. To pass any matter receiving the mayor's veto requires a 5/7 vote of a city council composed of 7 members. That's not us. A 4/5 vote of a city council composed of 5 members, and a unanimous vote of a city council composed of 3 members. I would propose that we change this ordinance to read, removal may occur by a vote of 4/5 of the members of the city council.
Is that during the NRS rule?
Yes.
Actually, the way and I apologize, Marty, the way that 266.415 reads, it says, except as otherwise provided by specific law or ordinance, which we
Yes.
have an otherwise provided ordinance,
Right.
all appointed officers serve at the pleasure of the mayor and city council and may be removed by a majority vote of the city council. The mayor may exercise the right of veto as provided in 266.200. That 266.200 is just the mayor's general right of veto. He can veto anything that you guys do. And we've got a provision in our ordinance that provides for that veto power for the mayor.
That is why I'm
If
here.
we're going to make that consistent with 266.415, that would be maybe removed by a majority vote of the city council and then indicate that the mayor may exercise the right of veto. So,
Yes, 266.200 is very clear. The
yeah,
mayor's
but
veto
that
can
doesn't
be
necessarily apply to appointed officers. There's 266.415, which is specific to appointed officers. That's just the mayor's general right of veto.
Let me reread this. This is 266.200, acknowledging that the mayor is the presiding officer of the city council. The mayor may exercise the right of veto upon all matters passed by the city council. That would include termination of the city clerk, would it not?
I suppose so, except there's another statute that deals specifically with termination of the city clerk. Are you saying that 266.415 is not consistent with 266-200?
I'm saying that 266.200 tells us what's required to essentially override or control a special
Not to
ordinance.
control,
Well,
it's to override a veto.
no.
That's what
Except-
266-200
I'm
is.
sorry, let me finish, Kevin, I'm sorry. Except as otherwise provided by a specific law or ordinance. Okay? I don't think we are proper to have a specific law or ordinance that violates 266.200. That's my argument.
266-415 gives you that authority.
No, it doesn't. I do not see where it says, in fact, it says the mayor may exercise the right of veto as provided in NRS 266.200. And 266.200 says 4/5. It doesn't say unanimous. I'll take this as far as I need to take it.
It says, except as otherwise provided by specific law or ordinance, so 266-415 gives you the authority to either leave the ordinance the way it is or change it however you want.
That's what I'm suggesting.
266-200 is just the general power of the mayor to veto anything you do.
Right. I understand that. And state law tells us how we can override that veto. And I'm saying that the city policy as it's written,
The city ordinance.
I'm sorry,
The
the city,
policy.
I'm sorry, the city ordinance. And so what I'm requesting here today is we change that ordinance so it complies with 266.200. Because I think what we've done here, our predecessors have passed a special, let me go back to how it's worded, in 266.415. They've implemented, provided by specific law or ordinance. But that specific law or ordinance, in my opinion, violates 266.200, which gives the council the authority to override the mayor's veto over any matter with 4/5 vote.
And that's what the language of 266-415 now says. In 1999, when this provision was adopted, 266-415 read word perfect what it says in our ordinance. It was
266,
changed in 2001.
266, 266.415 contemplates 266.200.
Yes, but 266-415 gives you the power with a majority to remove an appointed officer. Now, the mayor can then veto that, and to override the veto, you have a 4/5 vote.
Right.
That's the way it now works in 266-415.
Then we should not say in our ordinance that a unanimous vote is required.
Right, and I'm not disputing that.
Okay, then my
I mean,
motion,
but I think you have the authorization to do that if you want to do that.
I understand that. My motion is to change 1-6A-4 to comply with NRS 266.200.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm going to need some language because I don't.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
know, if you want me to use the language in 266-415, which refers to 266-200,
I'll give you the language.
Okay,
Removal may occur by a vote of 4/5 of the members of the city council and reference 266.200.
okay, so you want to have something different than 266-415.
No. No, I don't.
Well, 415.
Can I use the
415.
language in 266-415?
You can use the language in 266.200, which is where it is defined what is required to override.
Can you get
In 266-200, that deals with the mayor's right to veto. That doesn't deal with how the city council is to vote. That's the mayor's ordinance, the mayor's statute. 266-415 is what gives you guys the authority with a majority vote to remove an appointed officer. Then the mayor can veto that, and then pursuant to 266-200, by a 4/5 vote, you can override that veto.
Okay, that is the element that I want included in our city ordinance. The right of 4/5 of the city council to override the mayor's veto,
That's already there.
not the way our ordinance is worded.
I think I did do that one time, and that's right.
Okay, how about if we table this and have Marty write out exactly the ordinance the way we want, and between this number and that number, and the city council can read it and then go for that way.
Well,
Because
that's,
it's gonna have to be approved and then a second reading and a hearing.
I understand.
I move the table till next meeting.
Second.
All fair say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 19, council members, city treasurer trust, discussion possible action, appointment of 2 city councilmen to be placed on the signature cards for the city of Ely checking accounts, Bank of America and the First National Bank. Okay, who wants to be on the signing? If I pick out Gillette, you won't do the chair. Okay, I'll take Dale and Bruce.
Can I decline?
I'll take Dave Hanson.
Understand.
No, Randy Hanson. He's the guy that was a picture for the guy. No, I'll look at Randy Lee. I'm going to take Randy Lee because he's always the best.
Yeah.
So I'll take Dale and Randy. Yeah, are you left-handed?
I second that. Oh, we don't have to.
No, I need motion.
You
Yeah.
don't need a motion, you just appointed it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's right.
That's why I think we'll do. All right, reports, city council, now who do I start with? Who's number 1?
Bruce.
Seat number 1, Bruce. I'll be going backwards from what I used to do. You got a report?
You know, I did, but it was like 2 hours ago. I can't remember what it was.
That's a tad late.
I have no report.
Okay, Randy?
In the interest of moving us,
That is one of the issues, and there's some other additional issues. In the interest of time, I won't belabor them here, but we'll address them later.
I got a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna cut it down. I'm gonna be out of town on July 16th. I'll be going on my way to Albuquerque, but I'm also been invited by NV Energy to tour their power plant facility over there at APEX. Mark Cedars, because I'd like to go to a tour, and then I'm going to visit my daughter. And I got Sam, I thought you'd say something about the swimming pool, but Sam and I and Kevin was there for the groundbreaking. The swimming pool up by the school. Otherwise, I'm not going to get too much of that. But I will say this, Kevin, could you just briefly explain? I hate to put you on the spot, but on the rules of conduct of our open meetings at the legislature, that we can do comment at the beginning and the end. Or we can, which we did for a while, the comment at the beginning, and then they can have a question or comment after each, before the vote.
The way the law reads currently is you have 2 options with regards to doing public comment in an open meeting. You can you always have to have it at the beginning of the meeting regardless. Then you have a choice of either having a period of public comment at the end of the meeting, or after each agenda item, before a vote is taken, you can have public comment. That comment during those items are restricted specifically to that item.
Okay. So what that is that breaks down what the state is telling us we can do in our, there's 2 ways to go. We tried the other one. We went back to the one we're doing now. So we have the 2 comments. So I'm going to, because I believe it's up to me to do that.
The mayor is the one that controls the meetings, and so if there is a specific agenda item that you want public comment on, you can certainly open that up. That's your province. If you want to change the meeting completely and do it on every agenda item, that's up to you.
Well, it seems like that seems to be what the new city council wants to do. They want input. It's not public discussion. I know some of you want public discussion, and then we have chaos. See, people vote for representatives to govern. That's what they do. And, but getting their, maybe a question, or if they want to make a comment before we actually vote on the item, I'm gonna go back to the original thing, and if you guys
Can we give
want to
our
read that,
input before you say that?
what?
Can we give our input?
No. Probably wouldn't. But I'm gonna go back, starting on the next meeting, to the format of 1 public comment at the beginning, and then after each agenda item is before it's voted on. If you want to say something on it, you can. We'll try that again for and see how the city council likes it. Because you seem to like to have the input from the people. I recognize that. Okay? Not all of us do, Bill, but some of us
I
do.
just think you ought to wait until you're here.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Well, you say you won't be here at the next meeting.
No, now you know why. Okay, yeah. The 16th I'll be here. That's not that bad. I'll be at the meeting.
Are you gonna be back?
Oh, yeah, no.
18?
Oh, yeah. Our next meeting's the 18th?
This meeting is July 11th.
11.
July 11th. Yeah,
Well,
no,
11th.
25th. Yeah. No, I'll be here for the meeting. No, I wouldn't plan a vacation. Or, call it vacation. So anyway, that's, so we'll, make note of that, on the agenda, the future agenda items. We'll try that for a while. I decided we'll go back, otherwise we'll do that for. Okay, and with that, we'll go on to, agenda items for the next, meeting, and I think we've covered a couple of them. Is there anything else? Otherwise, you can bring it up for,
I got one. I thought in the last meeting we discussed and decided that the street department would go behind the water department to fix the water leaks. I just want to clarify, is that what we discussed?
No. We discussed it, but they said they worked together. That was never,
Okay, that didn't work.
it
So
was
I want,
never an agenda item either, so.
okay, so I'd like to put it on the agenda that, however you want to word it, that we instruct the street department to follow the water department and fix the potholes and fix the water leaks. I've had complaint,
This isn't the
my time
discuss
to talk, sit down.
oh,
I've had so many complaints about 2 water digs on Camden, that's been over 3 months old, and it needs to be fixed. And if that's the only way to get it done, by direct the street supervisor to fix the digs, then that's what we need to do.
put it on the agenda.
Put it on the agenda.
Okay. Anybody else, anything?
Mayor, can I need to say something pertinent.
No,
Yeah, I thought you were-
It's an agenda item, we'll talk about it at the next meeting.
Or you can talk to him privately.
Okay. And with that, we'll go on to public comment. Anybody for public comment?
I just have a couple of things to say. 12, 13 years ago, I was the one working at the city parks that used to set this meeting up. And I used to set it up the same way as you had it a week ago, but I have to make a comment now. This is far the best. The way you have it now, at least we can see you people, and the person that's talking, we're not looking at their back. I like the way it is. That's one comment. The other comment is, I don't know how she keeps up with everything. And last but least, I still say, I feel that we need to keep that playground just the way it is. It's a historical site. If you want to tear down the trees, whatever you want to do, they could do it around that playground. That playground has been historical for all of, well, from when I was a little kid, I played in there. Then my kids and my grandkids. And now I got a great grandkid that wants to play on it. So I think it should be left, work around it.
I make it. I put it in
Public comment.
I'm a Central Ely resident, as some others are here. And why are we putting that equipment out for bid? We've got a park down there on, I want to say Fay and Center Street. That is deplorable. Orson, you couldn't play in that place if you wanted to. Why are we selling equipment that we could bolster up another park? We've lost our parks in Central Ely. That equipment could very easily, I think there's one slide down there. This sled. And nothing else for the kids to play on down there. And why are we going to put it out for bid when we can put it in our own parks?
That's where you are, Albert.
Anybody else for public comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'm concerned about the previous council wanting to remove the baseball backstop. That backstop is worth a lot of money. It was used for years, That's a big investment. It needs to be left in place. If you want to get portable backstops for other functions, I don't have a problem with that. Then you put the diamond back in that field. Let the kids in this area play on that field. You're not getting to play now because there's nothing there. That's wrong. You need to address that. Mr. Mayor, I'm concerned about your possible disregard for NRS 266.190, which deals with general powers and duties of the mayor. Number one, the mayor must exercise a careful supervision over the general affairs of the city. I'm concerned about your actions. I'm also concerned that on 2B, see that all general laws and ordinances of the city are observed and enforced. You're not doing that, Mr. Mayor. Let me point out some items that I brought to you before. City standard road widths are supposed to be 40 feet according to, again, to some testimony given by Mr. Stork. Yet Winter Road is 25 feet wide. Who surveyed that road? I asked you before. When was it put on the agenda? Who approved the project? On the corner of Campton and Great Basin, 55-foot wide road according to the official maps. It was narrow. Who applied for the narrow? When was it put on the agenda? Who paid the fees? Who was it that approved the action? You have yet to address the lack of ADA access on the corners of 11th and Avenue C. New construction. Now the county wants to put an office there by the Old Times building. How are handicapped people going to access those corners, Mr. Mayor? City policy is specific about all new construction have handicap access. You haven't addressed that at all. Also on Avenue M, you have yet to address the width of the sidewalk installed behind the grandstands along First Street back here. It is not up to city code. It needs to be 5 foot wide, not 4 foot. Either you have rules and regulations or you don't. You have yet to address the iron curtain located in front of City Park. It is in violation of city code. You are selectively enforcing the ordinance, and that needs to stop. Mr. Robert Pope was cited, taken to court, fined for his fence. Give him his money back. Clear his record. To this day, you have other people putting up fences higher than 4 feet on the front of their property. I don't see anything being done. My brother was cited that his fence was too high when in fact he was at 4 foot. Selective enforcement, or maybe harassment. That needs to stop. You have yet to allow Mr. Pope to place a FEMA home on his property. What's the problem? He has a sick wife and needs to get out of the deplorable condition he's in now. Let the man move on with his life.
Mr. Jackson, your time is up, but I will ask you again, are there some things you want to put on the agenda? Or do you just want to talk?
No, I'm not here to
Then
talk.
talk to one of these city councilmen, and I
I'm
know
talking to you,
these
Mr.
guys,
Mayor.
and ask them to put some of the stuff on the
NRS
agenda. Thank you, Mr.
266,
Jackson.
190.
That's my offer.
Are you passing the buck?
That's my offer.
Let's get
Thank
some
you.
action.
Anybody else
Mr.
for
Mayor.
public comment?
You didn't want to be mayor. You
Are you
didn't
going to
need-
ask them, Mr. Jackson?
Pardon me?
Are you going to ask them to put some things on the
I'm
agenda?
going to, but I also
See
want
if
to
they'll put it on
mention,
the agenda for you.
look at 266 if you'd be so kind.
Mr. Chatchis, put your money where your mouth is.
Try doing your job.
Anybody else for public comment? If there's no other public comment, I'll close public comment. What are we going to adjourn? Second. We got a move and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sitting here for 15 minutes. Oh, I had to stand up for the first 3 quarters of it. I'm thankful ready for dinner. I bet your wife is saying the same thing. Thank you so much.
So the price goes up.
There was a competition.
we can decide two different things.
That's bills and resolution.
No, I didn't see the other things.
Yeah. Just sign all of this. That's just one second.
I'm not sure for a cold. My doctor said, one glass of wine will keep the heart rate. That's your problem, Mark. You guys trying to get rid of that.
I'm gonna start.
Mark the sign already.
Hold on a second. I figured out through.
Resolution that was passed and no sets of bills. Okay.
I'm still going with Randy Lee.
Yes. Okay.
I'm gonna always sign an order.
It doesn't matter, just sign.
Mayor, thank you.
The bills and the minutes.
What's anything about these curtains?
Oh, I
Yeah, I can say something about the curtains. I am proud of you all. I'm sure she was eyeing that.
Didn't look like it.
I just like to come out top, bottom, and front.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chachis reporting. The preceding program was sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Ely TV, Channel 3-2 in Ely, Nevada. Local news telecasts can be seen Monday through Friday at 12:30 and 6:30 p.m. on this station.